2. On the path of total freedom from sexual impulses.
Dada, what is the method by which sexual impulses are gotten rid of in the Akram path?
This is a different path. Here, you do not have to remove any sexual impulses. So many people practice brahmacharya of the mind, body and speech here. Those who are married find their solution from the way that I have shown them. Here, as the self, there is no place for sexual impulses or sexuality. This place, the self, is eternally free from any movement. It never leaves its original state, that is nirvikari. Sexuality is not poison. Fearlessness in sex is poison. There is no problem in sex if it has to be done as a last resort, just as if a policeman were to force you to do this. It should not happen by your own choice. Do you have any choice but to sit in the jail if the policeman puts you there? Is there any escaping from there? Similarly, you do not have a choice when karma unfolds its account and the sex act in the mind, speech or body happens. Any religion that sanctions and allows sexuality is no religion. Religion exists where there is brahmacharya. No matter to what little extent religion is present, it must be free from all elements of sexuality.
Yes, that is true. But shouldn't there be a means of going from one shore of sexuality to the other shore of brahmacharya?
Yes, for that there is jnana. For brahmacharya, the right guru has to be encountered. The guru must not have any element of sexuality. If the guru is sexual in any way, the entire following will go to hell. They would not be able to see human life again. Sexuality of any type does not suit a guru. No religion accepts sexuality in spiritual matters. Those who accept and allow sexuality in the spiritual path are on the wrong path. In fact, on the path opposite of liberation, the path to hell. Such wrong and misguided paths and teachers did exist in the past, seeking the self along with sex.
Dada, is that not a form of deterioration in religion?
Of course, it is deterioration, a severe one at that. These teachers do not go towards moksha, and they do not let their followers go either. They go down in lower life forms and take their followers along with them.
Despite knowing the transient nature of sexual pleasure, what is the reason for such an intense desire for it? And how can it be brought under control?
The world has not known the nature of sexual impulses and desires at all. It can be brought under control only if you know how it arises. But you do not know under what circumstances they arise. Then how can it be controlled? No one can control it. A person who appears to have control, it is actually the result of his prior life's deep inner intent for brahmacharya. Otherwise, the only way one can have control over it is if one finds the root cause of sexuality and puts a stop to it at that point. It is too late to try and stop it once the sexual impulse expresses as an effect. If you want to be free from all sexual impulses, I will show you the way.
Yes, Dada. Jnana is a very critical and important thing for attaining freedom from sex.
Jnana is the only thing that will get rid of all forms of Vishay, all entry into objects of enjoyment. These objects of enjoyment cling to you because of ignorance of the self. As hard as you try, no other approach besides Jnana can control Vishay. Sexuality will not stop with external locks. I have seen some people who have even gone to the extent of locking up their genitals in their desire to curb sexual impulses, but this does not work. All sexual impulses and desires fade in the presence of Jnana. These brahmachari followers of Dada here are free from even thoughts of sexuality.
Psychology says that once you have had your ice cream to the point of full satisfaction, you do not feel like eating it again.
That is not possible in this world. On the contrary, you will feel like eating again. But if somebody keeps feeding you something that you do not like at all again and again, then it will induce vomiting, and then you will stop. In sexuality, the more a person enjoys it, the more he has a burning desire for it. By not getting involved in the sexual act, one may become uneasy and unsettled for a month or two. However, loss of familiarity is the key. With the loss of familiarity, one will forget sexuality totally. It is not possible for a person enjoying sex to get rid of the desire for it. Hence, research of the scriptures done by people in our country has led to the discovery that the path of brahmacharya is the best. The best cure is to become unfamiliar with sex. Once you stay away from sex for 1 or 2 years, then you forget all about it. That is the nature of the mind. If it goes near it, it will become restless. The mind has been separated from its familiarity. If you, the self, remain separate from it, then the mind stays away from it, and therefore it will forget it forever. It will never remember it again. It will not go there even if you want it to. Do you understand that? It is like if you stayed away from your friend for 2 years, then your mind will forget him.
When we give the mind the freedom to enjoy sex, it remains uninterested, and when we control the mind, it becomes restless even more. The fascination for sex increases. What is the reason for this, Dada?
This is not called having control over the mind. That which does not accept our control cannot be called control. Shouldn't there be a controller? You can only control if you are the controller. You are not the controller because your mind does not obey you. Does your mind obey you? Mind is not to be obstructed. Instead, the causes of the mind have to be obstructed. The mind is a result. It is an effect. It will continue to show the results. It is like the result of an examination. The result cannot be changed without changing the answers of the examination. These answers were given in the past life. The result is now in front of you as the mind. How can you identify the cause of the effect? How did the mind filled with sex arise? The answer is that it is stuck in sex. It was stuck in sex in the last life, and it is stuck in sex in this life. One should identify all the places where the mind is stuck in this life and cut off the link with it.
Dada, which is better? Practice of brahmacharya without ever getting exposed to marriage? Sexual interaction with a man or woman? Or practice of brahmacharya after getting married?
Coming to me is the solution. What other solution is there? If you try to give up one passion by yourself, another one will enter. A vacuum created cannot remain as vacuum. The moment you give up sexual passions, another passion sets in.
This anger, pride, attachment, greed that you talk about, where does sex come in it? What does sex come under these passions?
Sex and kashai, that is anger, pride, attachment and greed, are different. Indulging in sex and crossing its limits is called greed.
3. Importance of brahmacharya.
Dada, which is better? Practice of brahmacharya from childhood and unmarried, or practice of brahmacharya after getting married?
Brahmacharya since childhood is entirely a different thing. But what are child brahmacharis of today like? The times are bad these days. If you read about their life, you would get a headache right away. I will show you the way to practice brahmacharya if you want to. You have to follow that way. It is not mandatory for you to practice brahmacharya. This will only happen if your karma effects are there in this regard. To take a vow of brahmacharya and preserve it will occur only if your previous karmas are such. It can be preserved if your deep inner intent or bhav from your previous life was so. The other way to preserve brahmacharya is based on your unflinching determination to do so. Your unflinching determination, that is nischay, coupled with the energy and power of my words, which is vachan bal, which is always there, will preserve brahmacharya.
The charged karmas that have come with this body from the past life cannot be changed, can they, Dada?
No, They cannot be changed. Yet, sex is one thing that can be changed through the Agnya of the Gnani Purush. Here, special Agnya, the direction given by the Gnani to the one who desires brahmacharya. But this vow, Agnya, cannot be given to everyone. I have given it to only few selected people. The Agnya of a Gnani has the power to change everything. The seeker of brahmacharya simply has to make a firm decision that no matter what happens, he will not have anything to do with sex at any cost. Then I would give him the Agnya and vow of brahmacharya, and then the energy of my words will start working in him. His chit will not be distracted anymore. If a person practices brahmacharya and attains its full glory, then it is a very big thing. What more does one need when together with brahmacharya he has Dada's Gnan, this Akram Vignan? This Akram Vignan alone is such that with its experience and the extraordinary result of the accomplished brahmacharya, one enjoys the bliss of an emperor of emperors. All the kings of the world will have to bow to him.
At the moment, even our neighbor does not salute us. Despite understanding, the mind still stays fascinated in all the vishays, objects of enjoyment of the world. We understand what is right and what is wrong, and yet we cannot be free from these vishays. Dada, what is the solution for this?
True understanding is one that produces results. All other understanding is unfruitful.
Dada, what should one do to make this understanding fruitful?
I will explain to you in detail. Then, that understanding itself will continue to produce results. You do not have to do anything. In fact, you will ruin it if you try to meddle in it. The knowledge, the Gnan, the understanding that produces results is the right knowledge. If there is anything in this world that merits slander, it is the practice of abrahmacharya. Others are not worth slandering.
But Dada, psychologists say that sexual impulses never stop. They stay till the end. Therefore, vital energy of the semen cannot rise higher towards spirituality, can it?
What I am saying is that once the opinion about sex changes, sex does not remain. As long as the opinion about sex does not change, the energy of the semen does not rise higher. And here in Akram, we make a direct entry into the self, and that is what we call rising higher. The cessation of sex leads to the experience of the bliss of the self. This then leads to the natural rise of the vitality of the conserved semen. My Agnya is such that Vishay will stop.
What is in the Agna? Is the Agna instruction to stop overt and gross sexual activity?
I do not say anything to the external sexual activity. Mind, intellect, chit, and ego should remain in brahmacharya. And if mind, intellect, chit, and ego turn towards brahmacharya, then the external sexuality will shed off automatically. Turn your mind, intellect, chit, and ego. My Agnya is such that these four do turn for sure towards brahmacharya.
Dada, how does a Gnani acquire the energy and the power of these words?
One attains this energy and power of words only when one is absolutely free from all impulses of sexuality in mind, speech, and body. That is nirvishayi. Such energy that unfolds all aspects of sexuality in the true light is not to be found in this world. Only the one who is absolutely free from all impulses of sexuality has the energy and power of words that totally purges sexuality.
Dada Bhagwan na asim jai jaikar ho. Dada Bhagwan na asim jai jaikar ho. Dada Bhagwan na asim jai jaikar ho.